There are certain songs that don't just remind you of the 90s. Songs that feel like warm summer nights, a cookout, skating rinks, late night radio. And behind some of the most timeless R&B records of the mid-90s were two women that never chased fame, that never did too much, and still changed the sound of an era. This is the story of Zhané, one of the duos who helped define early 90s R&B. Now let's start with her backstory a little bit. Jean Norris Baylor and Renee Newfield, they didn't meet in the studio or through a label. They met as students at Temple University when they were roommates. Two musicians, two writers, two vocalists, both with a sound that didn't fit that R&B formula for the early 90s. While the music industry was pushing for big vocals, big personalities, Zhane was cool, effortless, musical. They were that type of group. How they blended jazz, hip hop, and just their smooth harmonies just made them stand apart from all the other groups of the time. Now, when it came down to their look that they initially had, Renee said this: well, prior to the 1990s, most of the girl groups had a uniform, homogeneous look. I was 5'9.5", and my partner Jean was 5'2". I knew that aesthetically we were different. I was dark-skinned and thin, she was light-skinned. So I tried to think of a way for us to have a look that would make sense for people to accept. I suggested that we would keep our hair cropped. I told Jean to cut her hair low, and I would wear mine low as finger waves. So that way, aesthetically, it would be something that would tie us together, and she agreed. Now, their big break came when they met DJ KG from Naughty by Nature in the early 90s. In a 2011 interview with You Know I Got Soul, Jean had this to say.
Queen Latifah and also KG from Naughty by Nature, what type of role did they play in your guys' careers, if you could go into that?
Well, it really jump-started everything. I mean, gentlemen who took us up to some of the record companies in New York, and the one that stuck was Flavor Unit. Mm-hmm. And that was Latifah's, management company at the time, turned record label, and that's when we started to work with KG at Naughty by Nature because he was looking for a girl group. So it really worked out well from there. He was looking for a girl group. We're looking to do an album. And that's where Hey Mr. DJ was created during that time. We were still in our very last year of college, so we would go up to the studio on the weekends and we'd come back home and go to school. And that's when Hey Mr. DJ was created, along with most of the first album. And graduation was in '93, May of '93, and I finished up school and then moved up to New York and got started with everything, finishing up the album, and starting to do promo dates and that kind of thing. And then that's how it all got started from there. We signed our deal through KG in Motown at the time.
Renee said in an interview that KG initially laughed at her when she presented their first song to him, as he thought it was a joke. She said, I wrote that song in my bedroom while sitting on the floor. I remember presenting it to KG. I told him I had a song called Hey Mr. DJ. I told him it reminded me of when I had block parties on my block back in Brooklyn. When I sang it to him, he laughed at me. He thought it was a joke. But we recorded it and everyone seemed to love it.
Hey DJ, keep playing that song all night.
Now, Hey Mr. DJ was produced by KG from Naughty by Nature, and it sampled Michael Wyckoff's 1982 hit, Looking Up to You. Now this song didn't just chart, it seemed like it just shifted the atmosphere. It was a perfect blend of R&B, hip hop, and jazz. It felt like a night out, hanging out with your friends, or like I said earlier, cookout, skating rink, that type of vibe. That's the type of vibe that this song had. The crazy part is, this was their first major single, and it blew up just like that. Zhane went on a run that most artists only dream about now. Their debut album, pronounced Zhane, also produced other hits such as Groove Thing, Sending My Love, my favorite, and Vibe. Their second album, called Saturday Night, was released 3 years later in 1997. They released the singles Crush and Request Line. Now, one of my favorite songs on the album, Piece It Together, and it's featuring Lil Downing and Najee.
I can't forget the last time
Now, Saturday Night was more mature, more jazz influence. It really seemed like it was the lane that Renee and Zhane wanted to be in. You know, they weren't trying to be like other girl groups. The album Saturday Night showed a duo that had grown as artists over the past 3 years. Critics loved it, fans, you and I loved it, but the label just didn't push it. And this is where their story starts to shift a little bit. So now we're in 1997, 1998. The label didn't really know what to do with a duo that didn't fit the typical R&B group mold. Zhane and Renee weren't flashy, they weren't filled with drama, they weren't chasing the spotlight, and they weren't trying to be sex symbols. They were musicians first. And when that mid-90s, late 90s R&B landscape shifted to bigger budgets, bigger groups, bigger marketing, they didn't fit in that new template. Labels wanted a look, but Zhane and Renee wanted to maintain their artistry. And that's where that tension started to show between Zhané and the label. Unlike most girl groups, Zhané didn't have a messy public breakup. There was no shade, no interviews, no drama. They simply just decided to step back. In an interview with You Know I Got Soul, Zhane explains why she decided to step back.
So, as for the group, what would you say is the main reason that made you guys go on your separate ways?
That was really my decision. I decided that I was ready to, get back to exploring music on my own as an individual. We had a lot of musical influences, both Renee and I, before we got into the group, and it was just hard to kind of be creative enough, have the space to, express yourself in that way in a group setting. So we did the 2 albums, and 2 albums in 7 years, and I was just ready to step away from the group and start doing music on my own again, and feeling like I would have the creative freedom to kind of write and sing, what I wanted to do. So.
Now, they didn't fall off, they didn't get dropped, they didn't implode. They decided to choose themselves and continue doing music how they wanted to do it. So where are Zhane and Renee now? Zhane reinvented herself in jazz and soul. She and her husband, Marcus Baylor, formed the Baylor Project, earning multiple Grammy nominations and critical acclaim for their debut album, The Journey. Zhane also teaches at the Manhattan School of Music. Now Renee continued performing, writing, and staying active in the soul and jazz world. For 15 years, she was the lead vocalist and pianist for the late jazz legend Roy Hargrove's RH Factor. Also, she has her own candle collection with Wick and Glow Candle Company called Scenting My Love. The impact that these 2 albums had is still enormous for the culture. They helped define the sound of 90s R&B, and they were pioneers, like I said earlier, of that cool, laid-back, neo-soul adjacent sound that artists like Floetry, Guapole, Les Nubians, and Van Jess. Zhane and Renee didn't chase fame, they didn't chase trends, they didn't chase the spotlight. They made timeless music and let the music speak for itself. And decades later, it still does.
Did I ever tell you how you make me feel? Every night you're on the control. So come on, Daddy, won't you take it away? I know I call your line every day. I'm dialing 555-0429 so that I can hear you say, hey, 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 baby boo. Just tell me what I can play for you. You're right on time. You just got through the request line. Oh, everybody, move your body. Now do it. Here is something that's gonna make hey, DJ, keep playing that song all night. On and on. One more time now, everybody.